Hello everyone from the Coherence Meditation Gym. So excited to be here with you to talk about Blessing of the Energy Centers 1. And this is meant to be a casual conversation. I want to give you information that I hope is valuable to you as you prepare to practice the meditation Blessing of the Energy Centers 1 from Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I'm going to do this in two parts because the explanation um, it, it is it is not too long, but it is pretty technical. And I wanted to make sure that the second part of it, I wrote down pretty good notes about just all the chemicals and the processes that go through just as we practice. So I'm going to focus just now on where they are, what is happening as we are moving through the energy centers, and what each one of them govern, each individual energy center. So, and then we'll do a second part, to go along with this one. And before I get started, you're welcome to post questions. If you're watching this as a recording, you can still ask questions, and as we, I'll make my best effort to respond. And I believe that the interactions really is where we get so much of our learning. My intention is that we grow and expand together. I don't intend to have all the answers, certainly, but this is something that is I'm very passionate about. I want to tell you a little bit more about who I am so that you know where I'm coming from and a bit about my background. So I am not a Dr. Joe Dispenza trainer or have not been trained under um, his way. I know that there are people that he has a whole branch for that. But I am a HeartMath certified coach since 2016. And if you know about Dr. Joe's history, you have heard the HeartMath Institute mentioned somewhere along the lines. And if you haven't, um, I want you to know that that coherence as a term is something that the HeartMath Institute has been researching for decades, and Dr. Joe and the HeartMath Institute are very much linked together. So the terms and a lot of the processes come really from that research. That is the baseline. It's the foundation. So that's why I am very much, I find these two, the practices, Dr. Joe's processes are just they just make sense to me because I have studied with HeartMath since 2016 and have that foundation. And I, to the best of my ability, I would love to share what I know and how I find those two linked together, because I do see a somewhat of there's some missing pieces as I interact with others that practice Dr. Joe's meditations and go to retreats. And the ongoing practice, as we know, as we leave the monastery, as we say, after going to a retreat, to be able to sustain that in our daily lives, it's a challenge, as we know. And that's why I created the Coherence Meditation Gym, because to be able to stay coherent or elevate our level of coherence, deepen our practice, it's like everything. We have to make it a discipline, and we have to, just like going to the gym, we know that. And you may not go to the gym, but you have perhaps a practice of staying active. So, so that's where I find that the tools that I've learned through HeartMath are just, they're innate. They become, like you have this system that becomes a way of life. It's a lifestyle. So again, just very much hand in hand. And So back to Blessing of Energy Centers 1. I wanted to say that because I wanted you to understand who I am and what my background is. Let me see what else I can tell you about that. So, hi, Cindy. Nice to see you here. I'll make my best to read the comments and do the explanation. I wanted you to know just a little bit more since 2016. So I started coaching with HeartMath, and I stayed very much linked with my mentors. Sheva Kar is my mentor. I call her my my Yoda. It's like she's been part of the HeartMath Institute for again decades since its inception, and I learned closely with her up until 2021 when the pandemic hit and we 2020. Then I moved. There was just a lot of movement going on, and in 2021 is when I decided I needed to go to a retreat because there was so much healing that needed to take place in my personal life. And I won't get into that story. I will tell you if you'd like at some other time, or maybe you'll see it around here. But I needed to heal emotionally, and in that week-long retreat in Cancun, I had a mystical experience on day 4 in the pineal gland meditation, and from that, that was a life changer for me. As many of you know that have done Dr. Joe's work and perhaps gone to a retreat, there are moments, there are pivotal moments that change your life, and that was for me in 2021 at that week long. And since then, so I've been just love his work, love deepening my love for the for the work, and continuing to deep dive, because you just realize that the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. So so that's a little bit about my story. Cindy, have you changed your physical environment in addition to daily practices? Oh yeah, thank you for that question. Yes, very much so. I mean, physical environment for me is very important. I think that I guess what I would say to that is that your outer world really becomes a reflection of your inner world, and I think that we become extremely sensitive to the way we feel. This is my personal opinion, but our environment definitely has so much to do. I mean, if everything is energy, and we are energy, and we're raising our frequency, our environment will match that, and a lot of things will fall out of place if they don't belong in the same frequency, whether that is people or physical things. And this is again my personal opinion, and I am very sensitive to the environment, and so it is very important to me to not only the place I live, and my room, my kitchen, you see, I love life around me, and but also where I live. I live in a beautiful place in Lake Oswego, and I'm very, very blessed, and things change. And so I think, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Cindy. And I say when things change, I think that when we change, our environment is going to match that. And before I forget, I don't want to digress too much from Blessing of Energy Centers 1, but because I mentioned Lake Oswego, I know the Walk for the World is coming up. Oh, by the way, it's Eclipse Day today, and it's super exciting. It's such an exciting day. I wore my sun earrings, and just watched it live. It was in Mazatlan. It was a full eclipse, and there was a live that was there, and I did my mini ritual to just come into alignment. And but so in a few weeks, we will have the Walk for the World. It's the third one. I organized the first one here in Lake Oswego. I hope that you, wherever you are in the world, you find a group to do the walk with. If you're in Oregon, I would love to meet you in person. We do it in this beautiful park close to the river, like actually along the river. We've got the path already laid out because this will be the third walking meditation for the Walk for the World. So I didn't want to forget to mention that. Excited. Oh my goodness, Cindy, you're going to the advanced week. Yes, so exciting. I get just so excited for all of us and that are continuing to deep dive, and all the things that come out of the retreats is just absolutely amazing. And if you are watching here at the Coherence Meditation Gym, come to the meditations on every other Saturday as of now, as of this live, of this recording. If you're watching the recording, we meditate every other Saturday and also every other Wednesday. We do 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturdays and 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every other Wednesday. And so this coming Saturday is Blessing of Energy Centers 1. That's why we're doing this explanation right now. And so, yes, open invitation. And there's this beautiful community that is we're forming from people all around the world that come and meditate. And so what I do is I share the recording from a Zoom, and we start together and end together. It's not recorded, it's live, and you're welcome to share your whatever you're inspired to share at the end of the meditation, to just again be in community, maybe ask questions. We're finding really that when we share at the end our experiences, what we felt, there's no judgment. It's just this beautiful share of community, and so we're all in different levels as well. And I think that when some of us have had the opportunity to go to a retreat, or again, it doesn't matter if you haven't. There's we're all learning, and when we do it together, it's so powerful. And what one some people have never been to a retreat, but wow, they have like beautiful experiences as we gather, because the energy's there and the intention is there, and we follow along as best we can, and things happen, and it's just beautiful to do it together. Angela, how can I start with meditation if I tend to fall asleep every time I'm trying to do it? Thanks. That's a great question. I'm sure you're not alone on that. Well, what I could recommend is that you sit up straight and get your spine very straight. And if you can't bend your legs, sit on a chair. And when you meditate, you focus on the breath, and the breath, and as you inhale and exhale, and then follow along. If you're doing it very, very early in the morning, which is my favorite time to do it, we can tend to get tired, but I wouldn't judge myself if you do. Just continue to practice the next time, and maybe drink some water before. maybe put your earphones and I like to cover my eyes, but with my earphones and sitting up straight, it just it takes training, like your body, like everything. Just check on the time to see how long. If you end up falling asleep, just next time, just do it for longer. Put a timer on. So play around with different ways. Just don't judge yourself for falling asleep, that you've done something wrong. Just continue to again practice. It's like everything. You're not gonna get it perfectly the first time, and but I would say just having your back straight, um, knowing that it will be over soon. Tell yourself this is only for a period of time, and just focus on the breath. If I think of anything else, I'll type it in here later. All right, I hope that helps. Okay, so Blessing of Energy Centers 1. Here we go. So in Dr. Joe's explanation, he starts off by talking about, we have 7 hormonal systems, right? Like in our body, 7. There is, by the way, an explanation for Blessing of Energy Centers 2 and 3, where I go through each, where they actually, we'll do it right now, but you can watch those for Blessing of Energy Centers 2 and 3, and every time, so one Blessing of Energy Center builds upon the other. That's why I'm doing 1. Obviously, we start with 1, 2, 3, and there's all the way up until 10 as of now, but there's an Energy Center 11 coming up. He just alluded to it in his last live, Dr. Joe live, a few weeks, like last week, I think he mentioned that. So we have our 7 hormonal systems, but in each meditation we go up to 8, and 8 is above our body, above our head. So energy center, each one has its own frequency. It has its own glands, its own hormones, makes its own chemicals, and they each have a frequency that carries information. They have their own consciousness, and when we activate them with our energy, with our attention, then they emit a certain frequency. So knowing where they are is super important. The energy center number 1. Here we go. It is located in the perineum, or just the pelvic floor. It governs our sexual organs, and also the bladder, the lower bowel, the anus, and the prostate for men. Estrogen and progesterone in women and testosterone in men are correlated with energy center 1. And so this energy center has to do with reproduction, with procreation, elimination, sexuality, and sexual identity. So there is a tremendous amount of creative energy in that center. So when we locate it, this is from my my little diagram for the symbols, but there. So energy center 2 is right above it, but energy center 3, they're kind of like together, right? So energy center 2, as we move up, is behind, and the belly button, or slightly behind and slightly below our belly button or navel. It governs the ovaries, the uterus, the colon, the pancreas, the lower back, and it has to do with consumption, digestion, elimination, and breaking down of food into energy. And it includes the digestive enzymes and juices. So that one is also related to our social networks, our structures, relationships, our support. So family, our culture, our interpersonal relationships. It's the center for holding on or letting go, or consuming and eliminating. When in balance, we feel safe and secure in our environment and in the world. That is Energy Center 2. Then we move up to the Energy Center 3, which is the center of our will, our power. It's located at the pit of our gut, and it governs the stomach, the small intestine, the spleen, the liver, the gallbladder, the adrenal glands, the kidneys, and it's associated with hormones including the adrenaline and cortisol, as well as liver and stomach enzymes. So, will, power, self importance, control, drive, aggression, dominance, competitive power, and direct intention. When it's in balance, we can use our will and drive to overcome our environment and the conditions in our lives. This is one that I personally work a lot in healing from my past. So this one is one that I have a good relationship with. Not that I don't have a good relationship with my other energy centers, and every time I bless them, my intention is to become closer and closer to them, to listen to what they have to say, because they do have, like, Dr. Joe mentions, it has its cluster of neurons, and when we send energy there, we're activating that into its consciousness, its intelligence. So every time we bless it, it's almost like we're having communication with it. We're having a relationship. We're sending life. We're giving life to ourselves, sending love, sending information, sending our intention to that energy center. And so it's, for me personally, it's like you just develop this relationship with these centers that form part of who you are, but being able to pay attention to them as well, for me is very important, because like I said, energy center 3 for me, just from past being very hurt, very weak there, and so in paying attention and sending love and energy there, that definitely my life has changed very, very much. And so it's this third and fourth, my heart, is extremely, extremely important. I place so much attention here through my work with heart math, because my attention, or the practices, go to the heart. We focus in the work of heart math. We work on the heart, and so that energy center for me is very, very well worked out, very fit, so to speak. And then we go, to energy center 4, the heart, located behind the breast. It governs the heart, but also the lungs and the thymus gland. The hormones associated with this center includes the growth hormone and oxytocin, as well as the cascade of chemicals that stimulate the immune system. And it's associated with the emotions of love and caring, nurturing, compassion, gratitude, inspiration, wholeness, and trust. It is where our divinity originates. When in balance, we care about others, we feel a genuine love for life, we feel whole and are satisfied with who we are. Oh, I could go on about talking about the heart, but it is just, to me, it is a portal. It is our portal to our higher self, to our divine. There's just so much about the heart that not only physiologically, it's the first one that that sparks life in our physical body, but our intuition comes through there. Yes, I could go on about that, but I'll make other videos about the heart specifically. Energy center 5 is our throat. It is where we, it's our expressive energy center. It governs the thyroid, the parathyroid, salivary glands, and tissues of the neck. The hormones associated are the thyroid hormones, the chemicals that govern the body's metabolism and calcium levels. It's associated with expressing the love we feel in the force center. I love this. When in one of the explanations I've heard Dr. Joe's like, I never thought about it like this, but it totally makes sense. When we feel love, when we're really like, genuinely feeling love, it moves up through to our fifth center, and we want to speak it. We want to share it. We want to express our love through words or through, our expressive nature. Just we want to say it. I love you, or I care about you, or whatever it is that we're inspired to share. Energy center 6. So this is a tricky one. So I saw it, being described like this, and that made sense to me. So it is located. This is a pineal gland, and to me, I think a lot of people get this one confused because you think pineal gland is somewhere over here, like somewhere in the center, but it's actually located in the space between the back of the neck, the back of the throat, and the back of our head. So back of the throat and back of the head. Somewhere in there is a pineal gland, and it's associated with the door to the higher dimensions and shifting our perception so we can see beyond the veil. That's our third eye. When this center is open, it's like a radio antenna that we can use to tune into higher frequencies beyond the five senses. When the alchemist in you awakens, we see through the veil. So that on a personal note, when my experience in the day 4 of the retreat, that this is where I had my mystical experience, and that changed everything for me. That was with my attention in that in energy center 6, and definitely it was like having something that, I was not in my body. I was somewhere else, but the experience was so vivid, and it was not something that I was making up in my mind. It was an experience that I was having, and it was revealing to me all the reasons why I had my past. And I remember Dr. Joe mentioning, you will come to a point where you will understand your past. And so that, when you walk through that door, there's a door, and oh boy, that door opened. And it opened with the pineal gland, with it, with that third eye opening and seeing beyond the veil. And I again, just, to me, I can share this with you, that it exists. It existed for me, and I get it. I get it when we talk about walking beyond the veil. There's another reality that we go to where it's difficult for the logical brain to understand, but when we're in meditation, we know that is not the brainwave that we're working with. We're working with higher frequencies. And then energy center 7, located at the center of the head, includes the pituitary gland, or the master gland. It governs and creates harmony in a downward cascade from this central all the way down to our sexual glands. This center of the body, where we experience our greatest expression and divinity, it's where we our highest level of consciousness exists or originates. When this gland is in balance, we are in harmony with all things. All right, just checking on the time. Oh my goodness, I want to keep this my intention is to keep it to about 30 minutes, but I'm going past a little bit. I'm just going to, is there any other questions or comments, by the way? Welcome. I hope I'm not going through. And this will be recorded, so you can pause and look and go back. And again, there will be a second part to this because there's a lot more of the technical things of what happens. But going through the meditation, now that we know where they're located and what they govern, when we place our energy or attention, our awareness there, there's two types of focuses. We're using the divergent focus and the convergent focus. And so one of them is the convergent focus is the narrow focus, when we're focusing on the particle. So when we are focusing on energy centers 1, for example, we are placing our awareness there. And it's not with the, it's basically feeling from that place. And that is what activates the cluster of neurons that give, that are activating life there. It's activating its intelligence. And so when we are doing the narrow focus, we're focusing on the matter, the particle. But then when we use our divergent focus, then we're focusing on the area around the energy center. So we're going from particle to wave, from matter to energy. Those are the two types of focuses, and we're focusing in those two ways in each energy center. So that practice is a good distinction to have as we are placing all our energy. And remember, when placing our energy, we're giving life. Where energy goes where our attention, energy flows wherever our attention is. So that's what we're doing. And then we move up all the way to energy center 8, that is located above the head. And that, when we get all the way to that one, we're actually receiving energy from the cosmos. So we're done with our physical body, and then 8, we're connecting and receiving energy from energy and information from the cosmos. So, and just to make note of what happens when we're in stress and where we're knocked out of homeostasis, it's important to note that here, because then we are having an understanding of what is going on when we're not in this meditative state, and when we're in stress, we're disconnecting from this from the field, and we're drawing energy from the energy around us. So by the way, when we're done with eight, then we focus on the energy around our body, which is arm's length, and that's about the length of our energy field. We radiate outward, like we glow. He asks us to glow, and that is, like we're creating energy around us. When we're in stress, we're drawing energy from that field, and we're becoming more matter and less energy, because we need that energy for stress. Stress requires a lot of energy, drains our energy, and that's another very basic heart math foundation. I know that very well because in my past, and what I teach is all about energy drains and energy gains. And so when we're incoherent, this is one of the graphs that I use for my presentations in heart math and with my clients and students. This is incoherence. So this is a whole nother class, by the way. I don't want to confuse you, but I just want you to see that incoherence is this. This is our heartbeats, by the way. When we're incoherent, we require that energy. We create chemicals there's a cascade of chemicals that gets released, and we that's what is getting, we're drawing that energy from our field, converted into chemicals, and that is making us more matter and less energy. And for a moment of time, periods of time in our day, that's okay. But when it's chronic, then where are we drawing energy from? How are we replenishing ourselves? So coherence, which is this graph down here, this is our heartbeat beating rhythmically. When we're in meditation and we're in coherence, we are beating, our heartbeat is a very different pattern. And this is the heart, and then imagine what the brain is doing. So that's the other very important piece, is that when we're in blessing the energy centers, our brain waves are in a different place where it's sending coherent information to the different energy centers, which then, with their own mini brains, and so those mini brains create the coherent messages to the tissues and to the glands of the energies of the parts of the body that they govern, and that's what creates order. But it comes from us being coherent in the mind, coherent in the heart, and then all our energy centers are in harmony, are doing what they know what to do best. We're in homeostasis, and we're not drawing energy from creating chemicals, the stress hormones, basically. So just a little bit about coherence and incoherence, and what happens when we're in stress, which is incoherence, and just how the autonomic nervous system just begins to release all those stress hormones, those chemicals, shrinks our energy field, and we're drawing that vital energy from the field around our body, and the field around our body begins to shrink. We become more matter and less energy, more particle, less wave. That's why when we're vibing high, people say, "Oh, you're so bright. You look so light. You feel so light." And when we're around people that are so stressed and so mad all the time, they're so dense, so harsh energy. It literally, we can feel it. We can feel it in our energy body, in our system, in our aura, in just that which we are emanating. Okay, just reading through our notes here so I can finish and make sure that our recordings are not super long. And so when the individual energy centers are firing out of balance, and the circuit boards, because they are circuit boards, each energy center is a circuit board. When they're firing incoherently, they run out of energy, and they're sending those incoherent messages to the cells that are not getting the clear information, and there's like static in the wire. And now the cells and tissue are no longer getting their proper signal. And this is, when we do this consistently or chronically, we're headed for disease. So we're not doing that here. We are doing the opposite. We are blessing our energy centers and giving life, giving energy. Okay. All right, so I think that's about it. I want to make sure I don't have any more questions for you. There is a second part to this one. I promise I will keep that one a little more tight, and also just a little bit more into the information to prepare for blessing of the energy centers one meditation. All right, we can leave it at this. I think we covered plenty. And just, yeah, remember that we are meditating this Saturday. Blessed Energy Centers 1 at 5 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. And then again in a few weeks, in 2 weeks, for the next meditation. And if you want to come on Wednesdays, we are actually, I don't have it on the schedule which one we're doing, but not this one, but the following Wednesday we're doing The Alchemist. So I am very excited about that. All right, everyone. Stay tuned for the next events. So many good things. The online. Oh, is it the same one as the online intensive? I can't answer for sure that question. I'm not sure. The ones that I've had, so I have them. I've had them for about 3 years now, and I can't tell. I know that there are slight changes to the meditations, like they maybe the music is shifted a little bit, because I know that the the music is upgraded at times, but I don't know if it's a completely different track. But yeah, maybe you can let me know once we practice it together to see. I'm curious to know if there's differences, or if anybody else knows here and after this can type it in to know if there's differences. All right. Well, unless there's anything else, I'm excited to meditate with you. Yeah, join us. And if you're not part of the Coherence Meditation Gym, if you're watching this as a recording, you're welcome to join. It's a free group. The intention is to practice together, as we know, to stay coherent after a retreat or after being in meditation. It is life. Life happens. So the more we practice, and the more we understand how to become resilient and get back into our true authentic selves, our best selves, that's the name of the game. And what are you feeding the field? Meaning, what are you irradiating? What are you putting out there into the world? The more we get into our heart and be our authentic selves, be the source of love that we're looking for in the world, I think that this would be a much better world. Happy Eclipse Day, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Perla, I'm glad you're here live. Angela, Cindy, so nice to be with you. Okay, bye for now.